Hey guys, and welcome to Two Bald Knobs, the ultimate orc podcast with me, 6 plus Stevo, and my co-host, my grot orderly.
You're bleeding cheeky, I'm telling you. What's the crack? It's scanning. Grot orderly, how dare you, sir?
How are you, buddy? How are you?
I'm grand, Chief. I'm grand. I'm tipping over. We've been through the holidays. We've survived.
Did you have a good Christmas?
I did, and yourself?
You survived them, yeah.
I survived my Orcsmas. It was seasons beatings.
Yes,
we got there in the end.
Yeah, Orcsmas was good. It's been tiring. It's been a good Christmas, but yeah, the little snotlings here have kept us busy, and crazy present opening, and more food and chocolate and biscuits than I ever want to see ever again. My kitchen's currently full of nothing but chocolate and biscuits. Can you believe?
Enough for next year, you
but
think?
Yeah, it was I think it would lead me until next Christmas actually. But yeah, it's been a good Christmas actually. I got a few Orky related gifts. I got a box of Mega Knobs to add to my hoard, and another Orc starter set, which is cool. I've got some good plans for some of the contents of those boxes. Got a Death Dread in there, obviously, so
Sweet.
I've now got my Magic 3 Death Dreads, so that'll be good. I'm planning on doing something a little bit different with this one. I think I might go for a bit of a Daka Dread, but yeah, I haven't quite made my mind up yet what I'm going to do with that. But probably convert most of the boys in there to more tank busters and stuff. But how about yourself? Did you get any Orc-related goodies?
Orc-related goodies over the Christmas? No, I didn't get any Orc-related goodies. That's the problem with me. I have too much of this stuff. It's no one can really buy me Orky stuff. You know what I mean? When the new stuff came out, I was like, oh Jesus, I'll buy it all. I wasn't thinking ahead. I got to be excited.
That's true. You haven't left much open, have you?
No. I got a few other bits and pieces that I'm getting together for the channel. I got a gimbal. So it's like a gimbal for my mobile phone for hopefully battle reports in the future. I got that.
Cool.
But no actual orc models because, by Jesus, I'm swamped by them.
Well, yeah, I mean, the sets I've got is sets I've already got, but you can never have too many orcs.
I don't know. I don't know, mate. I wouldn't agree with that statement.
Yeah, I'm not quite at your level, actually. You've probably got like a second house for all your orcs. At least another room where they all live, I imagine.
Shed of shame. They live in the shed of shame.
Where do you store your enormous hoard?
Oh, I live in, amongst, and around it, and it's stored in various locations, not just one.
It's like one of those programs on the telly, is it, where you got them people that are hoarders and.
Well, it's not quite level of hoarders, but if they were to
buried under there.
if a few of my relatives did like cash in the attic or something like that, they'd be sitting on a fair lump. You know what I mean?
You're just there buried under second edition boxes of orcs.
Boxes of grots, yeah, for grot hordes. Second edition grots. That's me. Orca boxes, the whole shebang. Of everything.
So yeah, so it's been a good Christmas, but yeah, now we're looking towards New Year. As of recording, as of you listening to this, you guys, it will be New Year's Eve. So we're coming to the end of 2018, and it's been quite a good year for us Orc players, that's for sure. Have you got any highlights from the year that's been?
Well, obviously, like you'd have to say, for Orcs, the Codex. Yeah, we got the Codex eventually. It's good. It's good Codex. Could be great, but it's good. It's good enough. Like, you know what I mean? Don't mean to be overly critical.
It's very, very serviceable.
Yes, it's a lot better than what we had. Most definitely.
Yeah, we've discussed it quite a lot on this podcast and on both of our channels, and discussed the pros and cons of it. It's a lot stronger competitively and stuff. There was some downsides. We lost a few things and everything, which we've discussed. But yeah, I think the Codex was definitely a highlight. And my God, they kept us waiting for it, didn't they? October in November.
Shh, don't. It's a sore point for so many. Opening up the old wounds there. Don't remind them. Jesus.
Yeah. And yeah, obviously we got a whole range of new kits as well, which like with looking back now, obviously you've built them all now. I know you've got them all. did you manage to build all of them and play with all of them and try them all out?
I've tried a few of them out. Yeah, I think I've tried 2 or 3 of them out because I've just been gaming quite a lot, which is weird, man. I didn't really get
It's
many
good
games
though.
in.
It's good. Yeah, you've
Yeah,
been.
yeah. I think I was sitting on my hands until we actually got the codex. I just didn't see the point in playing the index, knowing that there was going to be a codex coming out. Obviously, I didn't realize we'd be waiting until the arse end of the year to be getting it. But
Yeah, it was quite. Yeah, it was quite a long period of celibacy there for you, wasn't it? It was. And
so
then
make it up
once
for last time.
October came, you busted your nut big time.
I suppose,
But yeah,
yeah.
it's But in looking back on it now, October as a whole, I know there was a lot of hype leading up to it. There was a lot of negativity around October itself. There was people on both sides of the camp, people screaming that it was too little, too late, or the fact that October was pushed back till November, and there was a lot of discussion and debate, some of it heated. But what's your overall feelings on October as a whole? Was it a success? Was it everything you hoped and dreamed of?
October, the month itself, I think I've probably said it before, but I think Games Workshop just sort of suffered from, if we remember correctly, the leaks. Do you remember there was like a Speed Freaks box set leaks? It was really blurry images.
Yeah,
And I think what happened is when that came out and it was so far in advance that their hand was sort of shown, they were forced to show us the stuff beforehand. And I think originally Games Workshop would have wanted October, so the whole month of October would have been the releases that we got beforehand. So I think their leak schedule and stuff was knocked maybe 2 3 weeks out of whack, and that's why we ended up with all this Orc stuff's coming and then nothing for like a couple of weeks really, and then we got it. You know what I mean? So I think that's pretty much what happened. But at the end of it, like, we got the Speed Freaks box set, which I have to say I still haven't played the Speed Freaks game. I've put all the miniatures together, I just haven't gotten around to playing it yet, but I will be doing that eventually. And then we got the Codex, which is a hell of a lot better than the Index, you know?
yeah, which wasn't hard.
Yeah, like I
Which
said,
wasn't hard at all. But yeah,
wasn't
I've
hard
got
to
sort of
improve
mixed
on.
feelings on October. I think, I mean, the only thing I bought at the time was the Codex itself. I had a lot of money burning a hole in my pocket, desperate to spend, and yeah, then by the time all the stuff was released, I decided not to buy any of it and buy killer cans and death dreads and other things for my orc army instead. Um, it was it's a mixed bag for me. Like you said, the Codex was awesome, um, but for me, the kits themselves were a big disappointment. Not in the fact of they weren't good kits or not good looking models, just the fact of their mono build nature. I found very disappointing. The fact that they were all sort of buggy related.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
spent so many years screaming out for new buggies or an update to the buggy, and then yeah, my God, they delivered in big time. With what was it, 6 new vehicles? But yeah, for me, it was. I was hoping for a little bit more. I was hoping for possibly new characters or updates to existing characters, or even a return of old characters. Um, so yeah, I would have liked. I don't know. I guess you're never going to be 100% happy, are you?
Just
GW obviously can't
ungrateful
please all
orc
the
players.
people.
That's all we are.
But yeah,
Ungrateful players. You
yeah,
get 6 new sprues and you're never happy. But yeah, you're right. We got 5 buggies and
yeah.
a trike, but which is good. But I'd be in agreement with you. Some of those new sprues could have been better used elsewhere. Like maybe a plastic tank buster sprue, a plastic orc commando sprue, a new plastic Gazgul, a plastic multi-part warboss kit where you can make him a normal warboss or a mega armored warboss. Maybe then we would have got him in the codex.
Totally,
I just,
definitely.
well, I think the new vehicles look cool, and we've said it before. They do look awesome. There are some aspects to the release that just sort of missed the mark a bit. You know what I mean? It's like GW hit the target. They just didn't aim as true towards the bullseye as they could have, in my eyes. But I'm just a veteran orc player who has his tinfoil hat on and keeps bitching.
But yeah, I think overall for us all players, it has been a good year. To come towards the end of the year and get a codex, get a new piece of terrain as well, which was a nice touch, even though the rules for it are absolutely crap and
Oh,
diabolical,
garbage.
and some sort of badly written joke. But the actual piece of terrain itself is very cool. And obviously, yeah, it's nice to see other little things like that, things that probably a lot of us wouldn't have expected. A few months prior, I can't imagine many of us would have predicted getting pieces of terrain and stuff. Because even got quite a decent amount of terrain in the Speed Freaks set as well, which was quite nice. The sort of scrap heap piles and stuff. So it's nice to see them doing things like that. But yeah, it's been a good year to be an Orc player. I mean, it's certainly done us no harm on the channels, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Quite a lot of
It
people
was, I mean,
interested.
my channel saw a huge.
Oh, you skyrocketed, man. Yeah.
Through the month. I mean, I put some bloody work in though.
You were flogging yourself. I was saying it to you at the time. I was like, I don't know how you haven't dropped. Like, more videos, more.
Oh, I did. I got sort of burnt out from it after a while. I was like, you know what? I just want October to be over now, so I can just start doing normal, sort of more laid back videos and discussion videos rather than just covering all this news. It went through a dry period, and then for a while there, it was like the news was coming out faster than I could make videos and record it. And with news related videos, you're under pressure to get them out quick, because by the time, just a day or 2 days late and you've missed the bus.
Not even that. Like, it could be even worse. Hours.
Because they've seen
hours. Yeah. Literally
certainly
hours.
With some of the bigger YouTubers as well that cover this stuff, who probably do it as a full-time job, they've got the luxury of, there was many times where I was at work and I would check Warhammer Community or the various forums and stuff while I was at work on, oh shit, there's some new news there, I want to cover this now, and I'm stuck at work. As soon as I get home and the kids are in bed, I'm going to get that recorded and get that uploaded. And yeah, it was exhausting. So, but it was good. It was good in the long run. The work paid off, and I think it was over that month, actually on my birthday, I believe, where I broke the 1,000 subs, partly thanks to Beerinid 40k, who did a really cool shout out on his channel for me just around my birthday. I think he'd been planning it for a little while, and I got a big surge in subs and things there. But all throughout the year, it's been great. I've had support from yourself and Idic Beer and Beerinid and Big Mac Danskull and loads of other people besides, who have done sort of shout outs and stuff on the channel. It's all gone towards the success of the channel.
Yeah, but you put the work in, man,
And you've seen a bit of a boost yourself, haven't you? I think
I think it's like doubled or something. Yeah.
Doubled.
Yeah. It's like 630-ish or something. I've had the YouTube channel for a while, but it's just like, I just need to get the finger out in regards to videos. But there's stuff going on behind the scenes. I'm trying to learn how to edit stuff properly and try and get stuff a bit more polished. And like I said, buying a gimbal, wanting to get battle reports done, learning some editing software, all this stuff that's really new to me. Trying to improve the audio and stuff.
Same.
It's a steep
learning curve. It's all very it's still very new to me. I mean, the channel's not even a year old yet. I mean, probably a highlight for the year for me was going way back to February of this year, was when I launched the channel and made my first video, actually. And it's crazy, actually, to think that I've only been going 8 months now. No, that's terrible. 10 months now. No, 11 months now. What's wrong with me?
You've been at the beer again. Have you cracked open the Baileys while we were...
I did have a little bit of festive cider earlier, but it's not bad, because I only had one glass.
It must have been strong stuff, so.
I can, yeah, it was some squig juice. But yeah, no, so 11 months I've been going. There we go. We get there in the end. So yeah, February was when I made my first video, and I think it was showing off my tank buster conversions at the time. And yeah, it's crazy. It's been just a crazy year, and I'm so pleased I made that decision to start a channel. And I've met so many fantastic people, such as yourself, obviously. but yeah, a lot of other YouTubers and some of the subscribers are really cool. And over the year, I've been like subscribers. I still now after all these months, still can't get over how cool the subscriber base is and how nice some of these people are. I've had people just send me stuff through the post for no reason other than just to do something nice. And so, whether it's been bits of models or books or things to use on the channel. Yes, but it's been fantastic, and it's been a cool year. And then obviously August came round, and me and yourself started this podcast, which I think August was our first episode.
I'll take your word on that. I've a memory like a sieve, so it's like, all right, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was August, our first episode. So yeah, we've been. I was quite surprised actually when I saw it was only August. I thought we'd started it earlier than that because this will be episode 10 we're recording now. Yeah, we've done okay actually. 10 episodes. We're very sort of disorganised compared to a lot of other channels and things out there. We don't sort of stick to a routine of one episode a month or a week or a set time, a set day. We just kind of do it when and if we can and if the mood feels right. But yeah, so and that's been really cool, and I think a lot of our subscribers really enjoy it. I'm always getting sort of positive messages and things for. And
this is it, you know what I mean? There's only so much of listening to the two of us they can do in a short period of time, before they get sick of us. It's like, not these gobshites again.
yeah, not these two bald knobs again.
Yeah, very fitting.
But yeah, have you had any sort of personal highlights throughout the year in terms of your channel or in terms of the hobby?
Trying to think. I've started stuff that I want to finish. This is the thing. Like, I'm just thinking of next year. It's like channel's done well, but as I've said before, even if you go onto my channel, it's not that I'm on trying to be successful with YouTube. The channel is a catalyst to try and actually get my fat lazy ass painting and doing hobby, which I've been doing since the codex came out. I've been gaming like a mother trucker. I still haven't done my codex review because I haven't hit that magic 10 game number because I want to.
You must be getting pretty close though.
I think I'm on 7 or something like that now. Another game lined up for next week, so probably in January-ish I'll talk about the codex a bit. Well, like I said, I just sort of. But my channel's more just to try and motivate me to get stuff done. Like I'm reading the Vigilist Defiant. I'm trying to do a review on that, and it's like, yeah, I'll get there eventually. I will. It's like I keep reading it, and then I'm putting it down, and then reading it and putting it down, and it'll get there in the end. I don't want to ruin anything, but we'll. That video will be done.
To seeing your review of that.
It'll be done shortly
because I've not got the book myself, but I am very interested to see certainly the formations and detachments and everything that the orcs have access to in that. Certainly, I definitely want to see what they're all about, and yes, it's going to be interesting. I will definitely be watching your video on that when that comes out. So I'm very intrigued to see what that book's all about.
Well, that's it. Like, I try and look at, if it has orc content in it, I like to look at stuff from the orc player's point of view because, our channels are primarily for orc players. So
it's what our subscribers are going to be looking for, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to be interested in what Space Marines or the Pansies are up to.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, if a new book comes out, like chapter approved or something, it's like, well, from the orc player's perspective, do you really need to buy this? You know what I mean? That type of thing. The Vigilist Defiant. It's like, from the orc player's perspective, is it worth actually buying? That's the type of the view I try and take in it is, I'm an orc player. If you're a fellow orc player, maybe this will be for you, maybe this won't. I'll give you pros and cons to it and what you think. And then hopefully people can have more informed purchases because it's not a cheap hobby, you know what I mean? And the last thing you want to be doing is buying a book under one impression that you're getting off of people. And then when it comes down to the faction you care about, you're like, well, actually, really, I didn't really need to. Or, well, why didn't I buy this before? Nobody really covered this. Like, chapter approved, I was watching reviews and stuff like that. And a lot of people seem to have been focused on the points, which didn't really affect orcs. And not a lot of folk were actually talking about the open play rules for the orc vehicles, which obviously as orc players, that's probably going to be the highlight of chapter approved for us between that and the new missions. So I was interested to sort of try and throw a perspective on it in that regard. So it's fun, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, for us in terms of the points and stuff, it was just a case of timing for us. Wasn't it? The Alt Codex had just come out just before it, so we were definitely not going to see any points drops or anything for our Codex, at least. I think we had a few points adjustments for some of the Forge World stuff, though. I think
Yeah,
a
I
couple
think
of
they
vehicles and things
were
in there,
in the
a little bit of
previous
slight
one.
adjustment, but
I think they were in the first chapter approved. I could be wrong. I didn't bother buying the first chapter approved because, like I said, my mentality at the time was I wasn't really playing games. I didn't see the point in buying a chapter approved before our codex came out. You know what I mean? It would. It's
yeah.
you'd be playing with changed
Well,
rules, which are
in
going to
terms
change
of
again.
points drops, that first one definitely benefited us. That was why we were using the index, and that eased the pain somewhat until we got a codex. It had quite a lot of points drops in that,
Oh,
and
definitely, yeah. Like
yeah,
power
a
claws and
couple of
such.
extra stratagems and things, and yeah, it did make a big difference to making us a little bit more viable and a little bit more competitive just until we got our codex. But what do you think about the state of 8th edition as a whole now, coming towards the end of 2018? Obviously, when it came out, it was a whole wipe the slate clean. We got rid of all the formations and the overly complex sort of beast that 7th edition had become, and they wiped the slate clean. Did away with templates. They did away with a lot of stuff, and yeah, it was everyone was sort of on a level playing field again. It was simplicity. We just had the rule book, we had our indexes, and that was it. And then since then, obviously, codexes have been coming out. I think everyone's got their codex now, bar Gene Stealer Cults and Sisters of Battle.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right in that.
But we've had our codexes. We've had 2 chapter approved now. We've had a couple of FAQs and erratas and things, and so the game is. I mean, already it still feels very new to me. 8th edition. It still feels, like an edition that's in its infancy and stuff. But there's been a lot of changes already, and it's already kind of feeling a little bit inflated now. When I play games now, I have the rule book with me, I have the index with me, I have my codex, I have chapter approved, and yeah, then shortly I'm possibly going to be adding another chapter approved and a Vigilus book to that. So
Yeah, it's true, man.
this
Yeah.
simple one book game is yeah, it's kind of
It's starting to
yeah,
bloat. Yeah, I agree with you there.
yeah,
It is starting to bloat because even just rules was you're starting to see the return of formations with like the Vigilus book I was talking to you about. There was a lot of bitching about that back in 7th edition
yeah. It
regards
does
to the
concern me
formations.
actually.
Yeah. So
The
I
mere
think
mention formations concerns me.
I think yeah, well it may have reset and started off as a clean slate. It looks like this is just my personal opinion, but it looks to me like Games Workshop are just going down the path that they've done previously. You know what I mean? Where it's a case of all of this
It feels like
additional
it moves
stuff.
so much faster now.
Yeah, the churn is way faster.
It feels definitely. It feels like you just sort of get used to a kind of a rule set or something, and it's just a few months go by, and then there's an FAQ which changes a lot of things, or there's a new book which changes a load of things, and it's just evolving and changing so quickly. It's almost like you can't sort of get to grips with a rule set as it is and get the most out of it before the next thing's already come along, and you're having to learn some new rules. And it's yeah, I mean, I guess it's just the way they're going to go. They're a company that's into making money, aren't they? And they're masters at making what I think a lot of us see as compulsory purchases. I think chapter approved, certainly for a lot of people, is just seen as something you have to buy. It's almost like a patch, isn't it, for 40k?
Yeah, DLC. Yeah,
To
it's
sort
like
of,
we're in the land of
yeah,
DLC.
bug
You know what I
fixes
mean?
and stuff. And
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't
yeah,
say
so I
it's
think a lot of
just.
us,
I wouldn't say it's just bug fixes. It would be like you can compare to some video games and stuff where it's like you buy the core video game, and then I was literally only just talking to my cousin there a few minutes before our podcast, and he was looking at buying DLC for a game he's playing, and he's looking at reviews and comments for some DLC patches, and a lot of the comments people will be saying this should have been part of the core game, you know. And I've had comments from people
which is
saying
very
that,
common these days.
yeah, it's very common these days. So I'm even hearing people saying that about Vigilus Defiant. It's like, it's so close to the Orc Codex. Why wasn't this stuff in the Orc Codex, these formations? And then, you know, the same in regards to looted wagons and open play rules. It's like, it was so close to the Codex. Surely, you know, you could have put in the 4 or 5 pages extra into the Codex and charged this extra for that. You know what I mean? But I think you hit the nail on the head when you start talking about all the different books we have now. It's the purchases are being spread out, and you're right. So, you know, we're buying these, and some people are feeling that if you want to stay up to date and you're playing a lot, and maybe you're in a competitive environment, you have to stay at the cutting edge, and the cutting edge is the churn for it is higher and higher, and that's, you know what I mean. Some people feel like they have to keep up with that. You know, it's the likes of some of the card games and stuff like Magic the Gathering, where, you know, new card sets come out every now and then, and, you know, there's a whole competitive environment and there's a churn in there. And I think that's what 40k has turned into now. There's a churn in that regard, you know, for rules or the meta shift or whatever. And yeah, Games Workshop is a company and they have to make profit to be successful. But I've said this, I had this conversation with a friend of mine. I don't have a problem with a company making profit. It's how they go about it is where I have an issue. So spreading purchases out across the board for players unnecessarily. It's like, well, just give us a good book and we'll buy that, and then, you know, so I can spend more money on miniatures. I don't want to be buying rules, but that's me personally. It may be different. I think quite a lot of people like the fact.
I mean, they certainly do. I think by putting the points adjustments in chapter approved, that in itself, I think, is what has made it a compulsory purchase almost anyway. Obviously you can just, I don't know, you can photocopy or you can screenshot these things and
we live in the land of the internet
that way, but
you know what I mean. You don't
we
have
do
to,
but it's I think if it had just been a book of sort of you know, new missions, new stuff like that, then it's a nice optional purchase, isn't it? But I think because it's got sort of updates to the rules and updates to the points for all the different factions and stuff, it does sort of make it a pretty much compulsory purchase. But I don't know, it's and also I think it's not necessarily a problem with them bringing out so much things like that, but they're not cutting the cord on the older stuff. I mean, we've still got the indexes, which are still legal and still usable, which a lot of people will be breathing a sigh of relief over. But yeah, we don't really know how. It's like they're too scared to cut that cord, because we're just looking at it from an orc perspective that we lost a lot of units from the index. But I'm sure many other factions. I know that I've heard a lot of talk of sort of chaplains on bikes and things being cut. And so I think they're almost too scared to say, okay, the indexes are obsolete now. But yeah, it does. I think they kind of need to do that, because it's getting a bit hard lugging all these books around to every game you play.
They will eventually. I think it'll be phased out eventually. You know what I mean?
Possibly into next year, actually, I think.
Well, I don't know about the time frame, but we were told when the indexes came out initially with 8th edition that, you know, they weren't a permanent solution. You know, I don't know the exact wording of it, but pretty much, you know, we were told that this is to get you by until your codex comes out. So I just found it very strange.
Yeah, until they saw how livid a lot of players were when they lost their sort of big mech and custom force field and things, and they thought, well, geez, we're going to have to keep these indexes going for a little bit longer.
Yeah, just keep them in circulation for now.
It's, but in terms of getting into the hobby and attracting new players, I think it's been an amazing year for GW.
I mean, definitely, leaps and bounds.
Gone above and beyond. I mean, for me, I bought in March, Forgebane was released, with the Necrons and the Mechanicus force in there, and it had the 2 new knights in there and the new character for the Necrons and things, and it was an amazing value set. And then they've continued to do that throughout the rest of the year with other sets like the the Tooth and Claw one, the Space Wolves and Gene Stealer Cult, and there's been other ones as well, which the names evade me. There's been the Elder one that came out. So I've never seen more ways to start playing 40k than we've currently got. I mean, you've got what was the original one for 8th edition? Dark Imperium, was it, with the Nurgle and the Ultramarines?
There wasn't orcs in it, so I didn't pay attention. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, my Forgebane set is pretty much sat there, mostly still unbuilt, but it's there on standby because I do intend to do something with my Necrons at some point. But
don't forget about
yeah, I just think
Conquest. Conquest came out. That's probably
of
boosted
course
on.
Conquest as well. That's definitely attracted a lot of new players. It's amazing value. I think Big Mac Danskull just the other day added up the total of everything that he got so far through the magazine and added up what it would have cost to buy it, and it was huge savings. So it's again a great way to attract people into the game. And we've had the Space Marine Heroes that have been a huge success over in Japan, and people have been importing them little packs of like one Marine and that, and it's going into that sort of collectible. You don't know what you're going to get in the box kind of thing. People love stuff like that, and trading and swapping and things. It's they've done, I think, amazing work on that front in trying to attract a new player base to the game, and as far as I can tell, it's working. And they've also attracted a lot of old veterans into the game that kind of went off of it through sort of 6th and 7th edition, and brought in a lot of the old player base back again as well, I think.
Quite a lot older as well. I noticed in some of the Orc forums that I frequent and stuff, we were having old hands coming back who had been out of the hobby since maybe even 2nd edition and such. Second, when there was the changeover from 2nd to 3rd edition, there was a lot of people who didn't like that format. So we've seen quite a lot of old folks, old veterans who've been out in pastures, green or elsewhere, have come back into the fold. So I think it's been a great year in that regard. I hands down, I can't fault Games Workshop in that regard, that it's been a good year bringing old players and new into the hobby and expanding the hobby as a whole, because at the end of the day, the more people who are into the hobby and the more people who are enjoying it, means there's going to be more people playing the game, who are into it as well. There's going to be more likeliness of people making videos, new channels popping up, new content for us to watch. Each individual's different take on things, you know what I mean? How people do their armies differently, different tactics. And it all builds on itself. It's not, I don't think there's any aspect of the hobby that doesn't get better when there's more people involved. It has to be a very inclusive hobby.
Definitely.
Otherwise, it'll just die in its ass.
I think that's what's always stopped me going and trying out other games, because I know there's tons of other miniatures games now. I regularly watch Beasts of War, and they cover all kinds of different role-playing games and tabletop battle games and stuff. And there's some other companies out there that do amazing work with their miniatures and their games and rule sets and stuff, which sound very good. But I've always been very hesitant and wary to even dip my toe into those things, because the player base isn't there, at least not to the extent of like it is with 40k. And even where I live currently, it's quite hard. I only know a handful of people in the local area who I can get games with. So unlike yourself, who's been playing loads lately, I've been having real trouble trying to get a game in. Although I did have a very cool game against Idic Beer, which we covered in the last episode, which was another highlight of the year for me, getting to play his Necrons. That was very cool. But yeah, it's been I think overall it's been a good year. It's been a good year for Orcs. It's been a good year for GW, and I think it's definitely been a good year for our channels. But going into 2019, what would you like to see from GW, or what do you think we're going to see from GW?
What do I think we're going to see from GW? Jesus, I've no idea. They've pulled that many curveballs out this year. It's like they could do anything. They really could. I don't know. What would I like to see them do? Re-release Battlefleet Gothic, potentially. I'm just pulling a rabbit out of the hat here, you know.
I think that's quite likely actually. I think that could be quite likely. I think they've obviously gone back into doing their specialist games, which I know upset a lot of people a few years back when they just completely did away with specialist games and weren't supporting any of them at all. And we lost things like Necromunda and Blood Bowl and Mordheim and so many others besides. But they've definitely been going back down that route with these other games. I mean, Kill Team this year that came out has been a huge success, game which I've really enjoyed playing. But yeah, I think you've had the success of the computer games, haven't you, of Battlefleet Gothic? So
Yeah, it's pretty
that's got
popular.
the sort of that's been. I see videos popping up on my YouTube feed of featuring that quite often, and so there's obviously it's got the sort of awareness out there and stuff to a whole new audience, and yeah, I think that could be quite possible actually. I never played Battlefleet Gothic, but I always liked the look of it. I love the idea of linking games of that with 40k
That's
in sort of
how,
clever
yeah,
ways and stuff.
that's how I got suckered into it, man. And was like, right. So I have an orc army, and I'd love to play a campaign. So what do I need to go with an orc army if we're in space? It's like, oh, I know,
Yeah,
an orc battle fleet, gothic fleet. You know, so I have an orc flotilla.
hell yeah,
I've played games with them, and it's fun. And I
awesome.
think that's the thing that I originally wanted to do was
I
find a campaign and play like Battlefleet Gothic games where you'd
Well,
fight
I
in
think
space.
I have a request. I have a request for you for your channel going into next year is to cover your Battlefleet Gothic Orc fleet, and yeah, I'd like to see a video from you actually covering that and talking about it.
I'll write down the request here
That's
so I don't forget it. So you want you want a
yeah, scribble
Battlefleet
that
Gothic
down. I'd
fleet?
like to see that. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'd like to see that. But yeah, I think you might have touched on something there. I think that's quite possible. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we know is happening next year. We know we're getting the Gene Stealer Cult Codex coming next year. We know we're getting the Sisters of Battle Codex coming next year. They've got their standing sort of one in the chapter approved that's just come out, but that's obviously going to be a huge part of next year is Sisters of Battle. Um, and I just covered it the other day on my channel. The Gloomspite Gits, the Night Goblin faction, coming to Age of Sigmar, which that's coming very soon at the start of the year, which is great for us 40k players because it means we have access to a box of plastic squigs, which I personally am very excited about because squigs are a nightmare to get hold of. They're either in lead or resin. Um, there's not many of them available from GW itself. The ones that are out there on eBay are charged ridiculous money for them because they're so hard to bloody come by. So for us players wanting to convert some bomb squigs and have attack squigs on our war bosses and stuff, and that's going to be very cool, I think. And I foresee them selling a lot of those.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right there. I watched the video you did, and I also looked at some of the new releases. While Age of Sigmar doesn't really pique my interest, you can always find interesting bits and pieces in their Orc line or their Goblin line that could be useful for 40k games. So yeah, like the squigs, like for me, it's not too much of an issue. But then you have to take into account people who haven't been in the hobby for as long. So new players coming in straight in the door, it's like, well, how am I going to get bomb squigs if I don't like fine cast or you know what I mean? I want some more variety. Squigs, plastic set, can't go wrong.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think Age of Sigmar is it's much like fantasy. I dabbled in fantasy a little bit a while back. I did actually have a Night Goblin army for fantasy, and also made a start on a Beastman army. But yeah, never really got into fantasy. Not certainly not in the same way as I did with 40k. But Age of Sigmar has always sort of it's interested me, and I do sort of watch the stuff, and I do keep an eye on the models and the stuff that's coming out and the game itself. But if I was to ever play it or collect it, I would need far more time and far more money because there's no way I could even begin to fathom thinking about playing another game or collecting anything else. It's just and space as well. I would need like a huge storage container or something. I'd just have nowhere to put it all.
This is
But
it.
yeah, certainly it's It's great for us though that that at least Greenskins are getting some new stuff coming out next year, because we probably won't see anything new for 40k orcs for quite some time. I would imagine. So the fact that we've got some bits that are primed for conversion and stuff, and it's great converting from Age of Sigmar as well, because then you can go to tournaments and stuff, use this stuff fine in GW tournaments, because it's still GW models, so you can. It's the ideal place to make some selections and get some kind of cool themes going in your orc army, especially if you're a snakebite player. Age of Sigmar is just a godsend to anyone wanting a bit more of a feral, more of a sort of backwards orc clan. There's loads of good stuff there to choose from.
There's
Savage Aurochs
a lot of decent
all kinds of
conversions
things.
online. Yeah, like you're saying, Savage. So I've seen people who've done like the War Riders, turn them into like proxy bikers and stuff, and then the Savage boys, like you were
Definitely.
saying. I've seen quite a lot of decent conversions where they just give them like a slugger and away they go. You know what I mean? So you can do quite a lot. People converting different things up. I think I saw like images of a big squigs, like giant squigs. I forget the names of them. They're not gargantuan squigots, but it's like bigger
I
squig.
remember, yeah, we discussed this on the last one, didn't we? Yeah, there was some, there's some
Gobbers. Yeah,
awesome conversions out there. Out of those, yeah, that's it.
squig gobbers,
Yeah, there is some
stuff
cool
like that.
stuff
Yeah,
there.
but yeah, it looks like
But
you. It's the limit, just your imagination, man. Well, what were we saying? What would I buy?
what would you like to see come from GW next year? Like, this doesn't have to be anything that's remotely in the realms of possibility. It can be pure wish list in here. But what would you like to see GW do or release? Or
For orcs? Well, obviously I'd want it for orcs because I'm,
it would be for orcs. Like, I can't
self-interested
imagine you're
git.
desperate to
I'd be
see
like,
some
oh,
new,
we need to see
Elder
Leman
Faction
Russ on the
or
game.
something.
You know what I mean? More Primarchs, yeah. Um, a Mega Armored Warboss. I think if we got a Mega Armored Warboss, plastic multi-part kit, or a plastic Gazgul, you know what I mean? I think
Yes,
that'd be such a
yes,
boost. Just that in and of
definitely.
itself. If we
An
were
update
given
to
one thing, like,
Gazgul.
yeah, updated Gazgul, and you know, just a multi-pack kit for HQ, so you can make like even if you could like do one kit that does all three. So if you did a kit where you could build it as Gazgul, or you could do it as like a bog standard war boss, or you could have it as a mega armored war boss. You know what I mean? That's sort of, maybe that's asking a bit too much, but
Definitely.
something like that I think would go
Yeah, and
down
I
a
would
treat.
throw Nazdreg into that mix as well. You can make
Yeah,
Gazgul, Nazdreg, a War Boss, or a Big Mech out of that one kit. Loads of different head options, loads of different arms, loads of different armor bits, weapons. Oh, there's a kit I really like that I got my boy when he was sort of dabbling into the hobby. I got him I don't know if it's still available. I think it is. The Space Marine Commander set, and it was a really cool kit because it gave you the parts to make a Space Marine Commander, but there's so many parts in that kit that you can just use across the rest of your Space Marine army and convert lieutenants and chaplains and all sorts of things out of. And yeah, that's the kind of thing I was wanting for an Orc War Boss that I would have loved to have seen in October. Actually, that would have, I would have handed my money over in a heartbeat and probably bought a couple of those. But I think
insert meme now. Take my money.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Future armor meme inserted.
Yeah.
But yeah, not just in terms of orcs, but just in terms of the multi-part kits. I'm very relieved actually to see, reading about these Gloomspite kits for Age of Sigmar, to see them talking about these sets coming out that are multi-part, and they specifically sort of state in the bits that they have loads of parts in there to choose from and optional extras. And that was music to my ears, because after October and those buggies, it was quite worrying. And I know we did in an earlier podcast where we talked about sort of what does it mean for the hobby, and is this the way GW are going with more of these monopose kits and more of these, just mono build kits? And that was a little worrying, because it's stuff like that that would harm the hobby, I think, especially for veterans and modelers and kit bashers and stuff. It would put a lot of people off if that was the way GW are going. So it's good to see that they're not going purely down that route. So I'm hoping that we will see more and more and more multi-part kits from them. in 2019, definitely. And going off of orcs completely. Sorry, guys, I know it's an orc channel, but they've got to bring out a new Abaddon, the Despoiler.
Oh
They
yeah,
just have
Jesus.
to. There's
He looks
no
naff.
model that demands an update even more so than Gazgol. He desperately needs it.
Especially if
And,
he's sized up against some of the newer Imperial characters. You know what I mean? It's just
yeah,
night and day.
yeah. It's just going to be Gilliman like kicking the shit out of his unruly son or something, isn't it? It's just he's absolutely tiny in comparison to a lot of the new stuff that's come out. But I know we're going to see. They're talking about 2019 being the year of chaos. So there's a lot of talk of Black Legion and Khorne and Slaanesh and stuff. So there's going to be some exciting stuff. I know we're Orc channels, but I'm a little bit of a secret Chaos fanboy. I've had Chaos in the past, and I do like them as a faction as well. But
Anything that shafts over the Imperium, I'm a fan of. It's like,
yeah,
boo,
I
poster
like
boys, boo.
anything that's anything that's evil. I kind of like. I've never collected a good faction. Every army I've collected has been on the evil side. And I know they say that in 40k there is no good and evil; they're all kind of shades of grey. But the more obviously out and out evil ones, they just always seem to do it for me.
Yeah,
But so we're going to see a lot of chaos stuff. I think it's probably unlikely that next year we're going to get much new in the way of orc stuff.
I'd be very surprised. I would be very surprised if we got some new orc stuff. I don't expect
A
it
new
either.
character or two wouldn't go amiss.
Wouldn't go amiss, but I
in a
would
campaign,
be
perhaps
very
something for
surprised.
Kill Team, possibly.
Kill Team hasn't really been new releases. Any of the stuff that's come out for Kill Team, especially for the orcs, has just been previous stuff reboxed. You know what I mean? Kill Team hasn't really been an avenue
Yeah,
of new releases. It's just been reboxed
it has
stuff
for
with new
now
rules.
anyway. But
Well, but
there's a
you know, might
possibility
change.
in the
Might
future. They've
change.
got the commanders set, haven't they? And the update to the game and stuff, where they're bringing in sort of characters and stuff. And
Which I still haven't
it's
touched.
a possibility. Yeah, no, me neither. Actually, not that side of it. Anyway, I'm still on vanilla Kill Team myself, but
It's too
I
much.
would love to see from GW as well much more focus on matched play. And I don't care what they release for open play or what rules they bring in, as long as it is not at the expense of matched play. Looted wagons, etc. I'm looking at you. Don't take stuff. Don't bring us rules for things for open play and tell us it's you listening and giving back, but not to us people that play match play, because that's just a real kick in the balls.
I can hear the open play players furiously smashing the keyboard at the moment.
Well, they can be as furious as they like, because
how dare you, sir?
They needn't worry, because it doesn't matter what I say; they're still going to get it, and I don't mind them getting it. They're welcome to get all the cool stuff they want, as long as it is not at the expense of match play. I mean, just give us some points. So yeah, that's what I'd like to see next year. Throw in some match play rules for this stuff that's in chapter approved, for these looted wagons, etc. Even if you say in the fine print can't use in tournaments or something, I don't know, but just give us some points so we can use them in our friendly match play games and stuff. That would be really cool. But
interesting. Well, maybe we wouldn't get match play rules without a kit. So maybe what you should be asking for is a looted wagon kit, version kit.
Oh, hell yeah, an upgrade kit. Yes, definitely. Give us some upgrade. Yeah, give us a big box of armor plates and turrets and grot mechanics and various bits and gubbins just to decorate our land raiders and chimeras and whatever else we fancy looting. Yeah, that would be amazing.
And go from there.
And a plastic Squiggoth.
Yeah, plastic. There you go. Plastic.
Give us a plastic Squiggoth.
Might as well throw everything in on the wish list. Eventually, hopefully something will stick.
I tell you what, if we're on, give us a Dread Mob starter set. That's what I want on my wish list for 2019. I want one of them £100 starter sets, but just fill it with Gorkanauts, Death Dreads, cans, and some mechs. Just give us a big Dread Mob starter set, because for me, that'd be great.
I love how you didn't say Stompers. It's like,
yeah, unless they come up with some new rules for them, don't bother with that.
new points cost. That's all they need. Just a new points cost.
Yeah, definitely.
And they'd be happy
chapter
days.
Approved 2020. There'll be a big old points drop there. Looks like we've got another year of shit stompers ahead of us yet.
Ah, I don't know. Give it time. You know what I mean? I don't see Knights getting any cheaper. But Knights are interesting, but you know, I don't see them getting any cheaper. But maybe Stompers.
Yeah. So we've talked about what we want to see from GW. So what about for yourself? Plans for yourself in the hobby and the channel going into 2019?
See, I don't know. I'm getting to the stage now where I'm reluctant to say things to people because I know I'm a lazy git. It's like I'm an ideas guy. I come up with these grand plans. I'm like, I want to do this. I want to do that. We'll get this done. We'll get that done. And then it's like, where is it? You know, like I still have to paint the Badmion. You know, I still haven't painted that Badmion guy. But then I haven't been doing much painting. I've been playing. You want to see a Battlefleet Codic video? I want to do more painting, and I just want to sort of show it on the channel. So I've come up with a
I know
series.
We've talked about that off camera, shall we say, about New Year's resolutions, haven't we? So perhaps this is the perfect time in the show to reveal our hobby New Year's resolutions. What we were talking about the other day, and I think my New Year's resolution, and I've set it at something achievable. I would like to have at least 500 points worth of orcs, a usable force painted up. I need to really knuckle down this year or next year and get that done, definitely. I did say 1,000 points originally, but I think, like you, I'm fully aware and self-aware that I'm incredibly lazy. So I don't want to set myself a target that I don't think I'm going to complete. But if I can do 1,000 points, happy days. But if even I can manage 500 points worth, surely I can. That's basically my New Year's resolution. I need to get some stuff painted, and I need to have even if it's a very small force, but a fully painted orc force. So then, like yourself, I can start doing battle reports.
Well, I'm thinking the same thing myself. I want to do 2,000 points. What I'm thinking by the end of the year, which sounds
2K.
Oh no, for me and you, it's like that just sounds crazy. But then if you break it down, it's like what's 2,000 points over 12 months is like what, about 166, is it? Quick maths here. I think it's about 166.
Yeah, but what you're not telling our listeners is that your 2K army that you want to paint up by the next year is a pure grot faction.
Oh, the crazy contraption, the idea I came up with. Yeah, I was like, I was thinking to myself, all right. I was
300 grots.
How many points has it got? It's like, all right, it's 3 points for a grot. It's like, all right, so if you maxed out the unit, it's like what? 90 points for 30 grots, yeah? So we're looking at 90 points. Yeah. So we're looking at 270 points for 90 grots. And then you'd have your 2 HQ, and that's your battalion. You know what I mean? And then you're looking at, you want to do that times 3. So you're looking at 270. So it's 810 points for, what is it? It's fucking 180. Yeah, 810 points for 270 grots. That's 9 troops choices. Max strength. And then you'd have to buy like 6 HQ. It's doable. This is the sickening thing. It's doable.
It's doable. You would get access to an insane amount of command points.
And you wouldn't be able to spend them on grots. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to spend on grots. It's like I've a million and one command points.
Command rerolls, and you'd be getting
the basic stuff. Yeah,
pass your morale test one. That'll be the one. And with grots, you'd fucking need it.
Yeah, a mission. If there was like mission specific ones, because it's the orc ones you can use.
Do that.
That would be.
If anyone listening wants to do that, please do it. Send us pictures.
And to clarify, I am not building that army. That was just a concept. When I say I want to do 2,000 points, it's 2,000 point orc army. I do not plan on painting 270 odd grots, which is only currently like 810 points worth of an army. That's just Jesus. That'd be
your
torture.
airbrush. I can almost hear your airbrush trembling right now.
The compressor.
it's going to be a busy year for it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So 2K for yourself, 500 for me. 500 is my minimum. Let's say 500 to 1,000. I'm aiming for. So in terms of hobby. What about in terms of the channel next year? I know for myself, my plan for next year is just to carry on doing what I'm doing, but improve as we always do along the way. But I want to get myself either a PC or a laptop next year,
Sweet.
so I can do much better editing, just improve the quality of my thumbnails, my editing, my recording, get a decent microphone, and just improve every aspect of the channel in terms of the quality and the sort of professionalism of it. And you'll be pleased to hear we'll improve this podcast as well, and get us being able to do some different things and some better things, and just improve the sound and picture quality and etc. etc. And I think I'm sort of on the way now because I've broken that 1,000 subs. So I haven't received a check from YouTube as of yet, but I am earning a bit of money from ad revenue and stuff. My
Waiting for your
awesome
pocket money.
patrons donating and stuff. So any money I make through YouTube and Patreon will be put back into the channel to get some better equipment and just that's my aim anyway, just to improve the channel in sort of every way possible with the content and the quality.
Yeah, I'm of the same mentality myself, to be honest with you. Like I said, I got myself a gimbal. I want to get 2,000 points painted so I can actually do battle reports, because a lot of my subscribers, they're like, oh, we want to see battle reports. We want to see you do videos about tactics. So I'm trying to get games in to get the tactic videos started, and then if I have a painted army, I have everything else. I have the battle mats, I have the terrain, I have other people I play against who have painted armies. So it's all just down to me now. And then between that, it's like, for the channel, it's if I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'd be happy. But if I don't, like I said, the channel for me is just a catalyst to get me hobby done. So if I get me 2,000 points painted and I start doing battle reports, I'll be laughing. And then I'm trying to learn how to use editing software so I can try and get my standards, the quality of my videos higher. You know what I mean? Because I'm not happy with them at the moment.
Definitely.
You're always
improving.
there's
always, and I'm sure, you're always going to be most critical of your own work, aren't you? And there's always ways you can improve, and ways, there's loads of little ways you can improve, whether it be in your thumbnails, whether it be in the editing, the quality of the sound, just the content you're producing, and there's always ways you can improve. And I'm always looking at ways I can improve and tweak the channel and tweak the videos and improve the content. But another thing I want to do next year is get some more games in. Like I said, playing IDIC at the end of this year was great fun.
That looked like great fun.
I've managed to get a couple of new people into the hobby as well. I've played a kill team against my brother and a friend of mine who it's their first foray into 40k. So that's been good fun. So we're attracting a couple of new players into the hobby. I'm sure I'll get many more games against my good old buddy Reroll Joe. And hopefully sometime next year, me and you will get a game together. Whether painted or not, we'd have to film that. So I don't think our subscribers would forgive us if we didn't film it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of hobby and a lot of gaming to do next year. I've just got to figure out how I'm going to get the time for it all, because the trouble is with running a YouTube channel is that it's kind of it's a double-edged sword, because I made the channel because I want to cover a lot of stuff about the hobby in all aspects of it.
But then if you invest too much, the trouble is
with doing the channel, it gives me less time for the hobby in which I'm trying to cover.
Yeah.
So it's a real no-win scenario. It's like, do I paint tonight, or do I build something,
or do I
have a game, or do I make a video? And usually painting is fairly low on that list. I mean, I've just started getting my paintbrush on some of my scenery and stuff recently, but then I've got a starting set and a box of Mega Knobs looking at me. So I'm quite eager to get those built and get them added to my force. But it's 2019 should be an interesting year anyway. And speaking of subs for your channel, because I know this episode will be on my channel, if you are listening to this now and you're a subscriber to me but not to Skana, what the hell are you doing? Get over to his channel right now, subscribe, because the episodes of this alternate. So if you want to hear every Two Bald Knobs podcast, you're going to want to subscribe to both of us to be able to hear the podcast. And yeah, there you go, buddy. There's a little plug for you.
It's like, go over to him. Go on, send him some subs. It's like, it's grand.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, lads. Don't worry.
I think that's just been, for me, again, I know we're talking about next year, but going into the highlight of the year, just the awesomeness of the community. So many shout outs from other YouTubers and things, and it could be seen as such a competitive environment. YouTube,
Yeah,
you know,
could be different. Yeah,
walk channels, and you could be sort of trying to outdo each other and things and compete with each other, but there's just none of that from my experience anyway. It's just people singing each other's praises, you know, giving mentions and shout outs on each other's channels, and
having a laugh. Yeah,
I think that's the unification group has been instrumental in a lot of that.
That plays a large part into it. But I think you're right. It's like, if you're taking YouTube as sort of like a profession, and you know, you were trying to solely make money out of it and stuff, like, the two of us shouldn't get along. Then we should see each other as competitors, you know what I mean? And then any other orc channels, we should see them as competitors. But I find it's the other way, you know what I mean? Even, you know, the unification group helps in that regard, but I found even before then, but that does help quite a lot. It just seems to be, like I said, in regards to the hobby that we have, the more people that are into it, the better. You know what I mean? Because that means that there's more exposure of the hobby. More people into it means more games. Like, think about it. It's not a game that if you want to play, that you're gonna play by yourself. You know what I mean? It's not as accessible and easy to get into as video gaming, where you just turn on your PC, you create your profile, and away you go. It's like you have to go and physically have someone in your area, which is part of the reason why you're having some issues. You know what I mean? So more people means there's more potential. You know, I'm sure you'd be chuffed if someone like 10 minutes away on the bus started getting into 40k and started a YouTube channel. You and I know that you'd be out playing games with them in no
it'd
time,
be brilliant.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
That's the type of hobby it is.
It's certainly not. I mean, we had just this year, Dreadwire Gaming started up his channel.
Yeah.
Another awesome channel that anyone listening now should jump over and subscribe to straight away. Another orc channel, and yeah, and he's great. He produces some fantastic content and things, and it's like you say, initially some people would think you'd see that and go, oh, there's some new competition on the market now and going to take subs away from me. It doesn't work like that at all. It's there's people out there just want to consume this content as much as possible and listen to as many of us orc fanatics waffle on for hours as we do, and once they've run out of videos of us waffling on, they'll find another person to listen to waffling on about orcs. There's a lot of orc loving out there. It's been a good year for orcs.
For orc players,
orc YouTubers, that's for sure.
Definitely, I think it's been a boost. Definitely a good boost.
With the best faction, I think we've got the best hobbyists in the game as well. Orc players, definitely. There's just something different about orc players to any other faction. I think I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but we just I don't know whether it's because we take it slightly less seriously or what, but it's just a fantastic, 40k community, but in particular a fantastic orc community, and it's great to interact with them in the comments section of our videos and stuff, and it's cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's something I enjoy about YouTube is other orc players who find things that you do interesting. I find that surprising at times. You know what I mean? Like that was great.
Definitely.
Like, oh, okay.
I think one of my favourite part of producing the videos is not actually filming the video itself and uploading it and watching the views comment. My favourite part of it is reacting to all the comments and reading the comments. That's always the part that brings a smile to my face. I mean, I've had a couple of sort of derogatory comments and things put to me.
It's the internet, mate. You know what I mean?
But you know what? Even those have made me smile.
Get a laugh out of it.
If you're going to insult me, then do it in an entertaining way, and I'll give you a big thumbs up for it, because if you can make it entertaining, then that's all I ask. And yeah, I have had some some entertaining comments. I think quite recently someone commented that I looked like the guy from RoboCop who got hit by the
Oh, I
acid.
remember that one. That was fucking hilarious.
I was telling friends at work about it who had no interest in my channel, but I just had to tell them they thought it was hilarious.
Yes,
And
man.
but I just had to ask the guy. I'm just curious: is this before he gets hit by the acid or after? Because yeah, but yeah, there was, it's just been good. But I constantly get so many positive comments and things, and yeah. So I just want to take this opportunity for all the subscribers of both our channels just to say thank you guys for all your support and all the comments you put on our videos, because I think I speak for both of us when I say that if we weren't getting that sort of feedback and stuff, we probably would have stopped doing it quite a while ago.
I know it definitely 100%. It really pushes you on to actually want to do stuff, and then like when you're not doing something, you don't just feel disappointed in yourself. It's the people who are subscribed to you that have been sort of cheering you along as well. You don't want to let them down either. You know what I mean? There's a bit of that, so
Totally.
it's a
Totally. I
something to
remember
keep you
when
motivated.
I got my first patron. When I got my first patron, I thought, oh shit. And it's only a very small donation towards the channel. It's literally pocket change, but I just, it was suddenly like, whoa, now I feel pressure. Like, some people are giving money towards this now. I really need to make this content good, and actually provide a service, like a good content for these people, and yeah, it does. And as the subscribers go up and people are making requests and stuff, yeah, it does, like you say, it G's you on and it motivates you to make stuff better and deliver good stuff, and it's I'm very critical of myself if I get something wrong. I think a couple of tactics videos I released a little while back, I made a couple of errors in, and oh, it was killing me. It was
Yeah,
eating me up
you weren't
inside.
happy. I remember
And
that. Yeah, you weren't happy at all, man.
yeah, not good, not good. Like I say, you're always your biggest critic, and but yeah, no, it's been an amazing year for me, and I am so chuffed I'm into this world of YouTube now, and long may it continue. And I think 2019 should be a good year, and should see some good stuff from both of our channels and this podcast. And
Definitely.
I think possibly we may have some guests on the podcast next year. Something we've been talking about, but we won't sort of go into
Yeah, we've
details
been
on
saying,
that. But
yeah, there's been whispers
yeah,
in the wings, all right. You know what I mean? But yeah, yeah, we won't want the lid off that one anytime now. You know what I mean? We'll see
I
what way it
suppose for
goes.
our thing to make the interactive part of our podcast now is to ask the viewers now to what their New Year's resolutions are, their hobby New Year's resolutions. What are
Definitely.
you guys working on? Do you have armies that you're wanting to get ready? What are your hobby related New Year's resolutions? Please share them in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you guys are up to and what targets you're setting yourself. And yeah, I'm sure there'll be a lot of comments of stop buying new stuff and paint what I've already got, which never pans out.
Nah, that never works.
That never ever pans out. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it from us, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's been a
Oh,
fun year, as I've said. Been interesting. It sounds like I cut you off mid sentence there. Go on.
oh, that's fine. You're just getting me back because I do it to you constantly.
Go.
We. I guess all that is left to say is just I hope everyone had a merry Orc Christmas or merry Orcmas, and may 2019 bring you lots of hobby and joy, and may you decimate your foes on the battlefield. There you go.
Yeah, same here. It's like thanks to all the subscribers. Thanks to everyone who listens to the podcast. Your support is much appreciated. It means quite a lot to the pair of us. And 2019 is going to be awesome. It's onwards and upwards. So that's goodbye from Scarnier for 2018.
And that's a happy new year from me, 6 Stevo.